I know it's hard when you begin the race. And at times you may feel depressed and down and out. You may feel like no hope is there for you, that you are lost. But it is in you to overcome the difficulties, to find the power within. It may feel like a war is around you, but you must surround yourself with others that will pick you up when you are down, to feel that teamwork build within you. You may feel devastated, but with your team around you, you can overcome your struggles. You can find your horizon as you go towards your goals. You have made the first step, and your disabilities are now your strengths. Push past them. Find the leader within you. Look within you to find the race. Push past the pain. Discover who you are today. The journey may be hard, but you will discover the victor in you, the dream in you. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Real Talk. Today's topic, from negative to positive thinking. This week, I want you to think of some major goal you want. Maybe you've fallen a few times. You may need a little coaching or a little help, but I want you to think, what is real for you that's going to give your life a special meaning? Do you think about what you can do? I don't want you to think about if you can do it. I want you to push past reality and your so-called limitations. When you do that, it is going to be the key to your passion, as we talked about during week 1. Last week, we talked about transforming your fears. This week, we're going to talk about putting your plan into action. This is week 3 of the 30-day challenge. If you missed, that's no issue. Just go back and start from week 1. It's your time. And have you noticed, if you've been implementing these things, good things have started to happen in your life because you decided to make a significant change. Now, when the good comes, I don't want you to ignore it. I want you to look within yourself and say, you know what? These good things are happening to the right person. They're happening to me. Now, it's time for you to apply the things that we've talked about. We went from cognition, thinking, and now we need to do it. The first thing I want you to really get is that you must journal and write down what you're doing. We've gone away from using pencil and paper in this day and age, but it's a habit that you have to pick back up. I'm also going to recommend a book for you. I'm just going to give you the title and one of the authors. The title is Success is a Choice, and the author's name is Reynolds. Look it up. It is time for you to either rebuild or build your self-esteem, and realize that nothing is meaningful or lasting if it doesn't come with a little work. I want you to stop looking for a quick fix, because I'm not motivating you. I am unleashing the potential that you have within inside of you. I want you to dare to think past what you think you know, because it's time to start to increase your value. And I'm not the only one that believes this, because you have to become more valuable in order for you to earn what you want to earn. How do I know that? I get it from another author and motivational speaker, Jim Rohn. He's an American entrepreneur, an author, and a multimillionaire. The things that I'm telling you today have been proven by research, implemented by motivational speakers and life coaches from around the world. And if you're waiting for a raise, if you're waiting for a promotion, if you're waiting for your life to change, you're going to be waiting for a long, long time. Stop waiting and start doing. It is time for you to increase your value. And when you increase your value, then your bank account will increase. And so will the idea of success in your life. But you have to hold yourself accountable for the results, because if you can't see the results, how can you be accountable? This is the reason why you need to write everything down. And realize this, I love this quote, because you're always going to pass failure on the way to success. We often ask for the world to change first, but you can't change the world first. The person you can change is yourself. And something spectacular is going to happen when you do that. Because when you change yourself, then you become a change agent. And the world will start to change around you. I love a saying by John F. Kennedy. He stated that once you have settled for second place, then that's where you're going to be at in your life. Don't settle for second place. Expect first place. Your life is going to change when you change. And change is the answer, but change is very hard and difficult. People resist change all the time. Now, the things that I'm saying to you is common sense. And many life coaches and motivational speakers will tell you, but it may be common sense, but it's not common practice or ritual in your life. I know I'm hitting a chord with you today. You know the truth, but the question is, are you doing it? I want you to stop using the hope principle. I hope I get a better job. I hope I make more money. I hope I can pay my bills. You know, Richard Hooker says that change is not made without inconvenience, even from worse to better. It is going to be a little inconvenient for you. It's going to be a little stressful. But in order for you to get wiser, wisdom comes from knowing your trade. Pick up a book. Look it up in YouTube. You know, there are no more excuses anymore about not getting knowledge, because the knowledge that you're seeking is at your fingertips. And once you get it, you have to practice, practice, and practice. And I promise you, you'll get better. You know, the first time that I gave a motivational talk, I showed up and my words didn't. And I did it again and again and again. I kept practicing over and over again. I realized that so many people come to me after I talk and say, you know what, I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker. And they look at me and they say, but I'm just not good enough. Well, guess what? Neither was I when I started. And I guarantee you, when I look at this recording 10 years from now, I'm going to probably look back at these recordings and laugh, because I will have improved that much more. But you have to start somewhere. Think about it for a moment. I want you to think, what things have you wanted to do in your life, but you never started? Successful people do their homework. They investigate. But what makes them different is that they're fast to make a decision once they do the homework, and they're very slow to change. Most people, most of you out there, are on the opposite side of the spectrum. You are very, very slow to make a decision because you're scared to make a mistake, and then you're fast to change it, depending on who's around you. Your enemies are procrastination and hesitation. They have killed so many careers before they have even had a chance to grow. There is an old African American saying that states, indecision is like a stepchild. If it doesn't wash his hands, he's called dirty. And if he does wash his hands, he's looked at as wasting water. I want you to stop wasting water and act now. I want you to think about, what have you been putting off? And are you really happy right now? Are you sincerely happy? I love Helen Keller. She was so funny. One of her sayings was that when one door of happiness closes, another door opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we don't see the one that's been opened for us. I want you to stop kicking yourself. Stop thinking about all the things you haven't done. I want you to stop living in the past for a minute. I want you to open up your eyes, look up, and look at the door that's open, and stop looking at the door that's closed. Lift up your eyes, because your door to happiness is right next to you, but you haven't had a chance or an opportunity to take a look at it yet. And we must start to change your internal negative self-talk and thinking. But in order for that to happen, ladies and gentlemen, you have to first admit that the negative thinking is going on in the first place. And I want to ask you something. What is your mission statement in your life? And what is your vision statement? Do you even know the difference? And if you don't know, how can you expect to win or achieve any of your goals? You can't. It's a reason why you need to write them down. Mark Twain has said many, many hilarious things. But one thing he said that was on a very serious note that I think he meant for himself is that a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. If you are not proud of you, then how can anyone else that is in your life expect to promote you or invest in your product or your company? You have to have hope and belief within yourself. And as I said last week, you must stop working hard at the job and start working hard on you. But you must believe within yourself. And things are going to get hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Things are going to get very hard for you as we go on this journey. But something I want to promise you, when you're at the end of your rope, I want you to tie a knot and hang on. Because there's something threatening your family right now and your finances and your future at this very moment. And you have to fight. You have to fight because it's procrastination and indecision. I want you to look at your dreams and your goals like a helpless child, and you have to fight. I want you to imagine that a robber came into your house to kill your child. And I want you to think what you would do as a parent. You would do anything to protect your child. You must be willing to do anything to protect your future. You are in your own way, and it's time for you to move. You're in your planting season right now, and I promise you, it's hard right now, but the harvest season is right around the corner. I want you to imagine two precious baby bear cubs just in the woods playing. When you walk up on the cubs, what's your first thought? You're not thinking how cute the cubs are. The first thing you're thinking of is, where is mama? Why? Because you know that there is no greater danger in Mother Nature than to be coming between a mother and a child. Here's a question for you. Do you treat your dreams and your goals like that adorable baby bear cub? And the reality of it is, most of you out in the world do not do that. Why? Fear. You treat your dreams and your hopes more like an orphan. I want you to take a moment. I want you to go to the crib, and I want you to claim your dreams. Name your baby. Go to the baby crib and give your baby a name. I want you to call her prosperity, success, happiness. You may ask how. Well, I want you to put your life in order. Write it down. Winning is done by taking hits and not backing down. You know, here are a few elements to the key to success from somebody that you may not think of, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The man came from nowhere. In this country, didn't even know the language, to being a multimillionaire. Number one, trust yourself. You must dig down real deep and ask, why are you doing this? Because you can't do it for your mother, for your father, for your teachers. It doesn't matter. And it may sound crazy for other people, but you must push past that. Why? And you also need to spend some time alone. You need to do this without any music. Put your smartphones away, turn the TV off, and take a moment in silence. I've realized this so many times that so many of us are afraid to do that. But that's the only time you're really going to start to hear that inner voice. So many people are scared of that silence. You know, I know this as a counselor because I use silence as a powerful, powerful tool. Because I know in therapy, if I sit in a therapy session and I'm silent, that my client is going to want to fill the gaps. It is the first step in finding what is locked away in your heart. When was the last time you spent some time with yourself? What are you scared of? And this goes across cultures and all around the world. All cultures around the world value that inner quiet time. Some people call it prayer. Some people may call it meditation. And I don't care what you call it as long as you do it. Rule number 2 is break the rules. I love what Arnold says because in order to value or bring value to the world, it means that you have to break some of the rules to do that. And it's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to look at you differently. They're going to come against you and against your thoughts. But you must be strong and persevere. You must dare to be strange, dare to be different, dare to be crazy. Because who you are is going to change the world around you. Don't be like everybody else. I want you to think of Martin Luther King. If he wanted to be like everyone else, he wouldn't have taken the first step in the march. He would have stayed home. And where would I be today as an African-American counselor, as a man? If Ford wanted to stay in the box, he would have stayed on the farm and nothing would have happened. Nothing in history that is done by all of these capable, interesting people was done easily. The last rule is don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. In week 1 and 2, I said that failing does not make you a failure. The only thing that is honestly going to make you a failure is not trying in the first place. If you have accepted a 30-day challenge, then you have spotted already the negative people in your life. They're the ones when you open up this speech in your iPhone or on your computer, they looked at you and said, why are you listening to a motivational speaker? They're the ones when you started having more positive thoughts, they're the ones that will tell you to calm down. I look at these people like real life zombies just walking from here to there. Why? Because they're walking around from day to day and they're not truly living. Think about a zombie. they need to eat others' brains to stay alive. They need to consume others' ideas because they don't have any original ideas. They can't generate that on their own because they're living in fear. And when you step outside of the box and start thinking on your own, they become a naysayer. They tell you that you can't do it. Well, if you have at least 10 naysayers in your life, then guess what? You're on track. The more naysayers in your life, don't look at that as a negative thing. Look at that as a qualification that you are doing the right thing, that you're on the right track. Remember, if it can't be done, the real statement is that it can be done. That's something that they're telling you to do because it's in fear. The cell phone, when it started, was some strange idea. And when it was first proposed, the board thought it was crazy. And now, if you're walking around without a cell phone, people think that you're crazy. Yesterday's impossibilities are today's commonplace, but it takes somebody with a little bit of integrity, with a little bit of bravery to step past it. When people can't do something themselves, they tell you that you can't do it. You need to recognize that that's just a myth, and it comes from a place of fear. Do not let fear become a reality in your life. Take a moment right now, take one moment, and I want you to ask yourself this question. If money was not an object, if time was not an object, education, you had all the resources in the world to do anything that you wanted to do right now, what would you do? Write it down. Remember, if you want to succeed as much as a man on the beach, you must really want it just like you want breathing. If you get at that point, if you start right there, then you have the right stuff to begin this pursuit. And most of you want success, but do you want it bad enough? Most of you are not hungry. You just want it like a snack. And I have seen people when I was in Iraq in the desert in 100-degree weather with no water. They came up to me, a soldier, and at the time I was their enemy. We came to invade their home and their minds. And that thirst transformed their fear, and they came and got the water from me. Push past your fear. When you thirst for financial independence or true wealth and happiness, the fears and excuses that you've been having day to day are going to fade away. Then the hard work in the race is going to start. You must want it more than you want to drink or go out or be cool or to be around your friends. And I'm going to tell you the truth. There are going to be times when all your friends are partying and hanging out, and you're going to be studying and working on your craft. There are going to be times when people are out there and you're going to be working on your mind and your education. There are going to be times when people are out there doing things, but in order for you to get the things that other people do not have, you got to be honestly, truly willing to do the things that other people are not willing to do. You know, last night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned all night. I stayed up all night getting prepared for this talk because I needed it. It's a part of me. It brings me passion and life. Do you have a burning desire that at times you can't sleep? Do you have something inside of you trying to get out? If not, then I want you to go back to week 1 and take a look and find out what your passion is. That is the joy of life. It's your time. And I want you to stop being a spectator in your life. The reason why I never really got into watching sports on TV is because, for me, instead of watching it, I want to do it. Reality TV, in my opinion, is for people that would rather watch life than live it. I want you to think of your favorite shows and ask, why do I like that show? Because your passion may be locked in there. For me, I love CSI, Criminal Minds, NCIS, and I had to ask myself, why do I love these shows? I realized I love those shows because I like looking for clues. And I use that knowledge, that passion, helping people find the clues so they can find out what they want to do for a living. Again, I don't motivate people. I find those clues that unlocks their true potential. CSI, in those shows, your potential is like the husband, because in the shows, the husband is the first suspect, but in reality, the husband never really did it. You may think that you are 100% positive that you know why you have not been successful to this point. But I'm going to tell you, that thinking is probably the husband theory, and it's probably another reason. Because if you really knew the reason why you were not successful, you would have overcame it and been successful. True or not true? Yes, yes? Well, I want to tell you that there's not a simple answer. But the truth is that in order to find your dreams, like Michael Jackson said, the reason or the person stopping them is the man in the mirror. I want you to take a moment and stop celebrating everyone else's success. It's good to be humble, but don't forget how great you are. If you can get more excited for the Super Bowl or when your teams win than you would do for yourself, then guess what? Something is wrong and out of balance. Now, I know when I said that statement that I lost some of you, but I want you to know that just because it's normal for you to be more excited about other people than yourself, it doesn't mean it's right. It's time for you to start to change your life. And if you got that promotion or made your first $1 million and you painted your face and you shouted out loud and said, I did it, the world would look at you like you're crazy. Then my question to you is this: why is it okay to do that at a game and not for yourself? Because you have been conditioned to celebrate others and not yourself. It does not mean that you're better than anyone else. You know what it really means? Is that you have to start to strive to be better than you were yesterday, than you are today. Everyone has different gifts. And yes, I don't care who you are, that means you. You know, Joel Osteen told a joke. I love him. He's a great preacher and a motivational speaker. He said there was this man standing in the crowd, and he was standing by his wife. He was a mayor of a small town. He looked across, and he saw this gentleman that was his wife's ex-boyfriend. He turned to his wife. He said, baby, you know what? Aren't you glad you married me? Because if you had married him, you'd be working at the gas station just like him. She looked at him with a smile on her face and said, no, baby. If I had married him, he'd be mayor. I want you to take a minute and recognize your value and what you have brought to your life, who you are. Recognize what you've brought to the world, to your surroundings, to your business. And if you don't feel like you've brought anything, then guess what? It's time for you to do it now. Pick up a book or listen. I want you to pick another book up. And the title of this book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's a story of a young man who had the blessing of having a rich dad in his life and a poor dad in his life. And I want you to think about this. Who is giving you advice? You should be asking yourself that every day. Is it the rich dad, somebody that's done it and has been successful? Or are you getting advice from people that are not successful themselves? It's not a coincidence that most poor people stay poor and most rich people stay rich. It has more to do with their mindset than it does their bank account. I want you to think about that for a minute. For a minute, you must make your money work for you, and you can't just keep working for your money. I told you that learning your trade is key. Here's a red light for you to get. This week, I want you to turn off the radio and not listen to that anymore. Open up YouTube, find a motivational speaker, listen to a financial investment book online. Take a moment to fill your brain, learn your craft. But it can't be boring, so you need to find a hero, somebody you really, really respect. Find their story, know their story, live their story. All of them started from somewhere, and I guarantee you it may not be far from where you are right now. I'm going to have to tell you a secret. After a time, the work is going to turn into fun. I'm living my dream right now, to tell you the truth. I get to travel all around the country and help people find their purpose, and I get paid for it. Can you imagine having that feeling about your job every day? Not getting up and going, I got to get up, but being excited. You got to get it. But you have to be sincere with yourself and truthful with yourself. I'm giving you some tools and ideas that can help you. But just like a screwdriver left in a tool bag, you can't take the screw out of the wood unless you pick it up. You know where the tools are, but you have to pick it up. Many of you have the right tool, but you haven't taken it out yet. The Army vet I talked to you about before, he didn't pick up his tools until he lost his legs and found his purpose. Really, really think about that. Many people don't understand the questions in their life. Why? Because they haven't asked the right questions. So my question to you is this: are you ready to help yourself? It's not about me. It doesn't affect me whether you like me or you don't like me, because those of you that are going to get something out of this are not going to look at and look the things that are wrong, but you're going to find keys for your own success. Think about it. You know, most companies look at A players, B players, and C players. And the A players are usually the top salesmen or the top people in an organization. They're the go-getters. The A players are going to look at this and they're going to get something out of this. The C players are probably never going to even open up this link. They're going to pass by it. And the B players are usually the majority of the people. Some of you are going to take some and some of you are not. But it's up to you. You can ignore it, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you will take some of these techniques and get them in your life. I guarantee you it's going to make a change for you. You know, when I started this, I worried about what people were going to say about me. But I had to move past that and focus on the people in my life that were going to grow. And because of that, I have grown as a person. Remember, it's the journey and not just the destination that's going to make you get where you want to get. I wanted you to think about in your life, do you focus on the people that don't like you? If the answer is yes, many times it is, I know that it may be your family and your friends. This may not, and it may be the same thing for you. Your family and your friends may be the same entity. But I want you to understand that you have to push past that. You know, some people have already asked on my blog and online, they asked me a few questions. And I'm going to answer some of those questions right now. The one that's really come up is, hey, Ron, where in the heck are you getting all these ideas from? And I'm going to tell you a couple things and where I get some of the things I'm talking to you about. Some of it comes from my life experience, and the other comes from my education. The foundation of what I'm talking to you about as a therapist comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. And in simple terms, that just means that I believe that if we change a person's thought process, then their behavior will change. That a lot of people, and including a lot of you, have inconsistencies and problems in your life. The founder of this theory, the father of cognitive therapy, is Aaron T. Beck, and he is a renowned psychiatrist and professor. The bottom line is therapy works. Life coaching works. But you know what? Mentorship also works. Now the question you should ask is, how can these things from all these different levels, from life coaching to mentoring to counseling, all of that work? I want you to think of it like you think of medical care. I served as an Army combat medic, and I used different methods of treatment depending on the injury. If I had a soldier that came to me and they were dehydrated, I would either give them a drink of water or I would start an IV. But if he was shot, then I would first stop the bleeding. The problem is that when it comes to mental wellness in your life, being successful, when it comes to being successful in your life, many people don't even know that they need water. Many people don't even know they need a tourniquet. The first step is for you to take an inventory on who you are. It is a reason I told you to spend some time alone with just you. If you're in major depression, then you need to go ahead and find a therapist. A motivational seminar is not going to help you because you're slowly bleeding out. I may get in trouble for this statement, but it's true, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is a very, very small part of the population that actually needs therapy. Most of you have what you need to be successful within you. You're just going to need a little talk, a little push. You need some real talk, some real communication, some real love, and making some real connections in your life. If you've made conclusions on how the world works without any real evidence, then, you know, Beck would call that you're making arbitrary inferences. A good example is Murphy's Law, and I run into it all the time when I'm helping people out. You know, Murphy's Law is anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and at the worst possible time. The problem with this outlook is that if you're expecting for bad things to happen, guess what? You're going to get what you expect. When I asked you to think of your dreams, what happened? Did those automatic thoughts come to you? Negative self-thought? Did you think for a minute, you know what? It'd be really great. I want that promotion, but I know I'll never really get it. I want a new car, but I will settle for a used one. I want to go back to school, but I do not have the time for money. We make these conclusions all the time without doing the homework. For example, you know, I had a young lady tell me that she wanted to go to nursing school, but she told me that she didn't have the resources to get it done. She didn't have the time, and she didn't have the money. I asked her a simple question. I said, do you know about the grants that are out there for you, that you qualify for? She said no. And so I walked her through the process and the steps to get the money. So now one excuse is gone. And then we took a look and wrote out her daily schedule and what she did every day. And we soon realized if she replaced her TV time and her Facebook time with studying in school, she had more than enough time to finish nursing school. Guess what? In 2 years, that young lady became a nurse. And now she's moved into a nice house, and she and her children are doing a lot better. Once she realized it was possible, then her thinking, her cognition changed. She started looking for ways to get it done instead of looking for excuses. What are you looking for? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very hard pill for you to swallow. If you admit that the main reason that you are not where you want to be is your thinking, then it's going to hurt you. But it's going to give you the power to change your life. If you keep blaming everyone else, your dad that abused you as a child, the uncle that hurt your feelings, the wife that left you and took all your money, your boss that didn't promote you, then you're going to be in the victim mentality. And it's time for you to overcome it, and it starts today. Change doesn't happen over a long period of time, honestly, it happens immediately. And today is action day. Today is the day you put into practice the things you know to be true. I have a few friends that are personal trainers, and I ask them what technique is the best technique in order to lose weight or to tone up and firm. And the answer that I got completely blew my mind. They told me that the method is really not that important, neither is the technique. They said the real big thing is commitment and consistency. If you put in an old Sweating to the Oldies with Richard Simmons in the VCR, if you can find a VCR, and every day you did it, you would lose weight. Or Tae Bo. The reason why all of these new things come up on TV is to get you motivated. Because it's true, the workout programs have improved, but the reason why the new things really come up is to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you off of the couch. It's not the system, rather it's the trainers that are trying to find new ways for the regular everyday person to get engaged, to get it done, to get motivated, to get enough gumption to get off the couch, to get up, to move, to be active. I love the Insanity workout series because I love the name. Because the name implies that it is crazy for me to do these things. And that's what's going to happen to you. When you start to change your routine, it's going to seem crazy. It's also a reason why a lot of you quit. Your craziness has got to become the norm. Americans, and most of you, do not believe that you can change. It goes back to changing your routines, your habits, your rituals. If you have an all or nothing way of thinking, such as I'm either a good mother or a bad mother, or think that you, because you failed out of school, that you're just automatically a bad student, then Beck would looking at that as polarized thinking. You're polarized, you're stuck. You must give yourself enough room in your life to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Mistakes plus you equals wisdom to move ahead in your life. You should get excited when you make a mistake. That's what I said. You need to get excited when you make a mistake because it means that you're getting closer and closer of finding that answer. You know, it took Edison 10,000 tries before he was successful with the light bulb. If he would have given up, he would have spent the rest of his life in the darkness. Are you ready to turn your light on? Henry Ford, he failed his first time, ended up in bankruptcy. He failed his second time, that failed too. He didn't succeed until the third try. If you look at the history of the most successful people in the world, you're going to realize that they came up with the same things that you did. They hit the same walls. The difference is that they took each failure as experience, and they realized that if they were going to gain anything, they were going to gain knowledge every time they failed. Work it, work it, work it. Become an expert. That's what work does. Here's a question for you. Have you ever wondered why a multimillionaire can go in bankruptcy and lose all of their money one year, and then the next year they make twice as much as they did last time? It's because it is the person who made the money and not the money who made the person. That person became an expert in their craft. They were able to change their life. They were able to be more successful in their lives. So what I'm telling you right now is that you have the ability to change your life in order to learn your craft, but it starts today. Are you ready to make a difference in your life today? I know you can and I know you will. I want you to think of week 1. What did we talk about? We talked about passion, responsibility, and power. Unlocking your passion, taking responsibility for your actions, whether good or bad. And then you'll find the power to change. Week 2, we talk about transforming your fears because for a lot of you, The reason why you are not successful, the reason why you can't get past where you are, is because there's some underlying fear. Recognizing and understanding that that fear is holding you back will help you transform that fear into another emotion. And this week, we need to learn how to put that into action. And how does that happen? You have negative thinking processes right now. The way that we think is negative. Is start to change that negative thinking into positive thinking, to get ready for it. So here we go. Here's your homework assignment. Here's the time to get it done. I want you to open up your iPhones. Some of you are looking at this on your iPhone or on your Android or on your smartphone. And I want you to go ahead into your calendar. And I want you to note all the things you're going to do today, the next day. Put it into your calendar. If it is losing weight, then on your calendar for the next 7 days, mark down, I'm going to get up. And in the little label point in the calendar, I want you to write down the things you would say to yourself. Get up. Stop being lazy. Use any language you want, but make sure that it sticks with you. And then once it's done, I want you to go ahead and shoot that off to your accountability partner. Remember, your accountability partner is somebody that does not have an invested interest in you. They're not your husband or not your wife. They're somebody that you can trust that they're going to push you past your pain, past your comfort zone. I want you to get that. The things that I'm talking to you about today, I didn't just make them up. This is backed by research. It's backed by many, many hours, many years from motivational speakers, life coaches, psychologists, analysts, doing it over and over again. And we realize that if we can help somebody change their thought process, change the way they're thinking, then their behaviors will follow. If you are not in the job you want it to be in, if you can't lose weight, if you can't push past your failures, then it means right now we need to figure out a way to push past the pain. And I want you to really take a moment and get into that silent place. Take a moment and be quiet. Once you are done with this video, turn off the TV. Put your phone on silent. Go into the closet. Turn the light off and take a moment to yourself. Listen to what's going on within you. So often when I tell people to do this, some of the things that come into their mind is, man, I'm not where I want to be. Remember I told you that you need to make your bucket list, the things you want to do when you die, and start doing them now. It's time to make this common practice and common knowledge in your life. This is week 3 of the 30-day challenge. And what does that mean for you? It means you have to be engaged. You have to find the power within you. Look around at your groups, because if this is truly week 3 for you, I'm going to tell you some things that's already happened. Some of the people you thought were friends were not. They looked at you like you were a little crazy. You realized and recognized negative talk around you. And now you need to separate yourself. You have found some powerful friends and allies, and those are the people that you need to bring into your circle. I also told you to read a book by Napoleon Hill. What he talks about is a mastermind principle. That means surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you, people that are engaged in you, that want to journey with you to find that thing that makes you happy and successful. That is the mastermind. Surround yourself and meet with them once a week. Write down those goals. Bring your goals and your future with them. And I asked you, and I told you before, do you know the difference between a mission statement and a vision statement? Next week, I will go in more detail, but kind of give you a little bit of this. Your mission is what you want out of your life. What do you want? Do you want to be successful? Just saying I want to be successful is not enough. That is not how your brain works. You need to give it detail. First of all, you need to define what success is. What is success for you? Is it being financially independent? Is it being in a happy, loving relationship? Is it having enough money in the bank to send your kids to college? Find out what success means for you. And then you need to give yourself a timeline. I want to do this. I'm going to do this within 3 years, within 5 years, within 10 years. And then that's going to navigate and help you for your mission statement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're working at a job right now, I guarantee you that wherever you're working at, there is a mission statement that you know, or it's written down somewhere. Here's a secret that you may not know. That mission statement that's written down is probably the person who started the organization's personal mission statement. They started it from the ground up. They started it from where you are right now. So often, as I told you before, we look at people from where they are and not where they started from. Find your hero. Find the people that you want to be successful like. Find the people that you want to be like, and find out what their story is. I guarantee you that many of them, not only did they start where you are, they probably started below where you are. And then when I tell you for this 30-week challenge, I want you to cut off the radio, cut off the TV. You know, I took my own advice, ladies and gentlemen. I cut off Time Warner. Wow, I sure did. Because I realized that I need to invest this time on me and my future. It doesn't mean you don't set some time aside, but I dare you right now, once you get off of this presentation, I want you to pull out a piece of paper or your computer, and I want you to write down 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, write it down. I want you to write down how you've been spending your time. Write it down as you do it. You're going to be surprised at how much time you're wasting day to day, how much time you're spending not absorbing in your own life. Stop being a spectator. You're going to realize that you're watching other people's success. You can probably tell me about a famous athlete and how much money he's making, a famous rapper and what he's bought, a famous politician. But tell me, right now, what are the things that you have done that other people can say, man, I can't believe that he or she did this. And if you don't have anything, then it's time to start writing and working on them now. And for those of you that are parents, your kids, again, are going to do what you do and not what you say. We have to plant those seeds, ladies and gentlemen. You are right now in your planting season, and your crops are going to start to grow. Those good things are going to start to happen to you. And when they do, and at this point they should be creeping up, life is going to unfold. Don't ignore them. Put them all together. Look at your passion, take care of your responsibility, unlock your power, engage in who you are, transform your fear, activate them and get them done, and start living your life today, because today is the only day you have. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen so many people as a medic at the last moment of their life. The only thing that all of us have in common is that we're all going to die. And dying is a great motivator, because you don't want to be on your deathbed and thinking back on your life and go, man, I wish I would have. I can tell you right now that if I leave you today, if this was my last recording right now, I can tell you 100%, everything in me, that I have done everything that I ever wanted to do. Can you say the same? Guess what? I challenge you, after these 30 days, when you get on track, you're going to be able to say the same thing, that you're living your dream, that you're successful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Real Talk. Have a great day.